Now tuning in to Earbud Media. Audio for everyone.
I always forget that when these go up, it's like morning time because it's effectively not morning right now. And so it's like, hi, good morning. But also, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego, you know?
I only see darkness.
I only see...
It's dark outside. What do you want from me?
Why do you always, like... It's like you're one of those tweet bots where I know you're trying to say, like, real words, but they come out as these, like, dark, angsty think pieces all the time. What the fuck? Like, you could have just said, like, oh, yeah, it's night for me, too. I only see darkness. Like, what are you talking
I'm sorry,
about?
I wanted there to be a bit more dramatic effect.
Like, God. Have you started your spoken word poetry set yet,
Oh,
Cody?
my God.
Like, damn.
Not since high school.
Oh, shit. Damn. Well, hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
Oh, God.
I always wonder if when we actually record in the same place, if we're not actually going to be able to be funny around
I
each
don't
other.
think we will.
Like, I feel like I'm going to have to, like, record not staring at you.
Oh.
Just because, like, it's, like, what I know now.
I think we're gonna have to like face away from each other. I just don't think.
Yeah, it'll be hella dramatic.
I don't know if this is just me, but like I always distance like your voice from like I don't know what you look like. I don't know, cause like we're
Literally
not video chatting, so I literally just hear your voice, and like whenever I see a photo, I'm like that's Allie, but like the voice in the picture are definitely not the same thing at all. And like seeing like your face and moving, and also with the words coming out, that just seems like too much for me.
Like sensory overload.
Yeah, like no.
We're gonna have to be like the old school McElroys who like were in the same house but they recorded in different rooms just because they didn't want to have eye contact.
Also, like, not to drag you, but like your YouTube videos, you are very much on, and so like you're like this delicate little flower who like just talks so quietly and like just be and whatever, and then you get to hear it's like fuck everything. Burn it down. Don't do it.
See, that's the amazing thing, one, about, like, the duality of man, but also being a Gemini, is because when you don't know me, it's, like, very soft, and, like, this is how I talk in class all the time, but then as soon as you cross the threshold of being my friend, it's like, hey, fucker, what's up? We're just, like, basically the same person, it's just that I don't like to curse, you know, like, for my online brands anymore, because that means schools will find it, so, like, so... A delicate cursing flower. Can you imagine if that scene in Alice in Wonderland would have been like that? Like, instead of the little, like, pansies harmonizing, they were just, like, I don't know, Boston cab drivers, and they just, like, cursed the whole time.
Boston cab drivers. I love this image.
I can't actually watch Alice in Wonderland. That movie fucks me up, so... But that would have made it a little bit more bearable.
I don't even want to go there.
I'm sorry, but that cat... His head turns upside... Like, absolutely not. Mm-mm.
Another little-known fact about me, I played the Cheshire Cat in my middle school production of Alice in Wonderland. Yeah.
Really?
I shit you not, they had me in basically a mascot costume, which was
God.
very prolific for my career in retail. And they literally...
The beginning of Cody's furry days.
Absolutely. Canceled. Fucking canceled. But, like, they almost had me wear the fucking giant mascot head, like, on stage with, like, lights and shit. Like, up until, like, the day before. When I was like, you can't. This is, like, I can't.
Oh my God.
I'm, like, 13,
That's
please.
so
I'm
wild.
gonna cry right now in front of you.
That's horrible. My two favorite theater productions was, one, the Romeo and Juliet one, which I've mentioned before, but also when I did children's theater growing up, one of my favorites was being Jack's mom from Jack and the Beanstalk.
Yes!
And it was just like little 5-year-old tot of me playing like a 35-year-old woman, which is the most on brand. Like, I've always been playing like older people, which is amazing.
They knew you were an old soul from this beginning.
I swan to John, I think I dragged a kid by his ear across the stage. Like, I think that was one of my set directions, so... I've been made for this life, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you've evolved beautifully.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, speaking of evolving, we need to talk about, one, me being incredibly proud of you for posting this, but two, I'm sorry, Kristen's photo shoot? So in more, like, Twilight topical news, which I'm sorry, but, like, you guys should be thanking us.
In more
Cody's
a fucking homo news, this is just like... Wee, the alarms are ringing. My heart stopped. I was just scrolling through my Twitter feed, and I died.
It was so
because
good.
K-Stu and Charlize Theron, like the two hottest people that exist, I think, in the world right now.
God, those cheekbones.
It's criminal. It's criminal.
But also, I'm just saying, I think because of the fact that we're putting this into the world, more Twilight vampire stuff is, like, becoming relevant, which is amazing.
But I did like this vampy, moody ass fucking photo shoot, and it was beautiful, and it's on our Twitter, so go fucking stare at it and print out copies and paste them all over your room, just like everyone else does, you know?
Yeah, you should definitely print them out and pass them around your local neighborhood.
The people need to see it, you know?
Hi, sorry, yeah, I know it's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I just needed to knock on your door really quick and spread the good news. This amazing fan fiction of Charlize and Kristen came out, and I've also accompanied you with the original photos, so... Can you imagine?
Have you heard of our Lord and Savior, Kristen Stewart?
Honestly, our next merch, to be honest.
The Church of Kristen.
Dude, sign me up. I told you, when we were talking about the New Moon movie, I would have loved for her to push me down.
Oh my god.
Oh my god, okay. Speaking of merch, hi, I'll be testing out our merch, like 2 days after our episode comes out. So that's exciting. Come find me at VidCon.
Yeah.
And I'll give you buttons, which is cool. Yep. So that's exciting.
Also, just find Allie at VidCon because she's doing, like, the most, so, you know.
Hey.
Building the business, building the brand, changing the world.
You know, the huge. But also, if you see somebody in a fuck Mike Newton shirt, it's me.
I hope you, like, every single day of VidCon, like, it makes an appearance.
Yeah, by the, like, last day, I'll just be wearing it as, like, a headband. Like, I'm imagining me running into some, like, super rich, famous CEOs there and like, hi, oh, your shirt has profanity on it.
Yeah, what happened to your online brand? Like, the VidCon is the culmination of your online brand. You're gonna come in guns blazing with a fuck Mike Newton shirt.
Yeah, I'll be having a shitload of stickers and also a very fuck Mike Newton platform. It'll be great, actually.
Very
I think.
good.
Other news, you posted our bloopers this week. And they're funny as fuck. So that's good. How do folks find that?
You can go to patreon.com/intothetwilight. And if you're a patron at any level, you get access to that good content. $1 a month? Hell yeah. $5 a month? Hell yeah. $300 a month? Fucking go for it, man.
Just thinking about that number makes me happy inside. Who knew my limit was $300?
That's how bad retail is. That's because that number seems like a wet dream.
Oh my god. So we did get a few topics for us to discuss before we get into things. One was by a good old patron of ours. And Cody, could you do me the incredible honor of trying to brief what email we received today?
Oh god, it was so much and it was all just amazing. I'll give some cliff notes.
Please.
The main topic was about tattoos and the Twilight universe. Specifically, an article about this woman who is like in her 50s and she has her entire body covered in Twilight-based tattoos. And, like, the whole article is
Yeah.
really interesting because, like, she discovered Twilight through her mom, who recently died, and it was a very emotional experience, and, like, it just became, like, a sign of, like, I don't know, distraction and, like, something that she liked and she could put a face to and stuff.
Right.
And so she is, like, I don't know how else to describe it, but she is covered in, like, Robert Pattinson, Kristen Stewart, Taylor Lautner, on her body, quotes from the books and the movies, film strips, like, on her body. And it's the most buck wild shit. And she spent, like, tens of thousands of dollars already.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
So, her name is Kathy Ward. And my personal favorite thing about this whole story is that not only does she have Twilight-themed tattoos all over her body, but she has 69 tattoos of the Twilight Saga on her body. So, listen, I'm not the one that wrote it. The Daily Mail put it in there.
Welcome to 2007.
I mean, you're not wrong. We're talking about Eclipse, so you dragged your own self on that.
Okay, but my favorite part of this article was the fact that she kept talking about her love for Robert Pattinson, and the fact that she was like, I like him because he's not attractive. He's, you know, I'm average looking, and he's, like, close. And it was so good. Like, this 50-something-year-old woman is like, yeah, I mean, he's not hot, but, like, he's average looking, and I appreciate that. It's humbling.
It's such a fucking long con that she's, like, dragging our Pats for the rest of her life.
Forever.
Because when people ask her about it, she's like, yeah, I got it because he's average looking.
Oh, my hero, honestly.
She's living in 3017, and we're all still here trying to do our best. Like, that's some next level shit right there.
We're always 2000 and late. She will always be ahead of us.
Honestly. One other thing to talk about that we got sent this week. We have a starter pack now.
Oh, it's so good.
It's the best thing. Cody and I may have definitely scream texted about it, so that's great. We did get a few questions this week, primarily about Edward and his average lookingness. There were a few concerns about Edward and his inherent sparkliness, and whether, one, it would show through full coverage foundation, and two, if it would show through self-tanner. Discuss.
Okay. I'm iffy on self-tanner just because, like, there's no coverage. It's literally just, like, a sheen over your body, you know what I mean? Like, and also, like, usually gets out in the shower. Like, it's not really there for the long haul. And also, it's more tinting your skin instead of covering it.
Right.
Whereas, if you had a full coverage foundation, like, that shit can cover literally anything on the entire planet. Like, that is magic. Makeup is amazing. It's witchcraft.
I love that kind of witchcraft.
I think if fucking, maybe, I don't know, these boys are too into hypermasculinity and refuse to wear makeup, maybe they wouldn't be fucking facing these problems, because it has to, right? It can cover everything.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you put an all-nighter on that, if you put some double wear on that, I don't know that it would show through anything. Right. And also, like, what would be the point of a foundation if you're supposed to have, like, this perfect skin? You know what I mean? So I would be amazed if the next time that we see another Urban Decay advertisement coming out, it doesn't say anything but, like, I will cover all of your imperfections, including your vampireness. It's a really long advertisement. I don't know.
Can you tell Allie's an advertising major?
Obviously. Yeah, that's definitely... I get fucked over by advertising on the daily, so just saying. But yeah, that's definitely something to keep in mind, and I will think about now, is, like, just imagining, one, Edward putting full coverage foundation on, amazing image, but two, him putting self-tanner on to try to, like, blend in with people. Like, if they didn't live in Forks, and they had to, like, not be as stark white. Interesting concept, I guess.
Also, now that I think about it, though, full coverage foundation sounds like the best option here, but, like, you would have to put it over your entire, like, body, you know? And that would get expensive. Like, especially if you're getting that good shit, that's gonna, like, literally be a mask on your face and, like, not get any of that sparkly shit out there.
Yes. One, agree. Two, I can't talk about masks. I am deathly afraid of masks. But yes.
I mean, you know what I meant, though.
I know, but also the idea of something walking around with a mask on, and then you take it off, and it's a more supernatural creature underneath is the scariest thing that I've ever thought about.
I need to send you more pictures.
No.
From my work, because I am surrounded by masks on a daily basis.
And that is why I refuse to go into Halloween stores.
Yeah, well, damn. Truly, duality of man is represented here in this podcast.
Masks are terrifying, but something that is a little bit more terrifying, because the fact that we have to do it every week, is probably talking about these chapters. So, hi, how's that segue working out for you?
Wow.
Leave a comment card.
Oh my god. Sorry, did I just see a train of white people on Segways roll by? Because that was flawless.
Wow, thank you so much. That's like literally Portland all the time. If I could live my whole life on skates, on like wheels of some sort, I would.
Whoa.
That is like my ideal life. Because I work best on roller skates, so a Segway would just be some next level shit.
I work best on roller skates.
I do!
I don't even think I've been on roller skates long enough to even think of that as a possibility. That's where my life could go.
Fuck your treadmill desk. I want to roller skate everywhere.
Treadmill desks, they're not going anywhere. They're stationary.
That's what I'm saying. I'm on some next level shit. I'm taking my treadmill with me in the form of roller skates.
But like, would you take your... Hold on. I feel like we're not accurately understanding what a treadmill desk does. Because the whole point is to, like, be standing and walking during work. So, like, you're at a computer and, like, doing that. How would you possibly do any of that on roller skate?
Well, why would I use a treadmill desk that just stays there if I could just motor around on roller skates? I'd get so much more done.
I understand I get what you're saying. Like, I hear you. I just... Like, would you take your computer with you mid-skate? I don't understand. Like, what work...
Yes.
Like, one-handed? What do you mean? Like, just...
Yeah, I'm that bitch that's, like, rolling around you on my roller skates with my iPad in hand. Like, what do you need? What do you got? Like,
Oh my God.
If there was some way to get paid for working in one of those old school diners that those motherfuckers wear roller skates on, I would live that life. I would teach in roller skates. I would do everything in roller skates. I want to be on the move all the time. I'm also on a very anti-Heelys platform, though. I want roller skates.
Whoa, what do you have against Heelys?
They're trash? I don't know.
Whoa!
They leave skid marks everywhere.
No, that is true. That is true. I never had Heelys growing up, so I'm bitter about it, but...
No, I never had Heelys either. I just had my scooter that always tried to break my shins in half, so...
Yo, same! Those fucking Razor scooters, like, are killing children. Like, they're killing children. They've never been safe. I don't know why anyone lets kids use them.
I think it's to try and, like, strengthen kids, but honestly, I can't... Like, if anyone even looks at my shins, I think they crack. Like, it's all because of those scooters. And my Achilles heel? Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
Absolutely not. Too many times that I did wrong.
Damn. Anyway, we were supposed to be talking about... I don't know what happened. I blacked out for, like, 30 minutes.
That's fine. Same. So, this week, we had chapters 5 and 6. Now, last week, I apologized profusely for what we were about to discuss, and I hope that it covered it, because we're going to have to be talking about this for a little bit. Chapter 5 is titled Imprint, and Cody, before you read this chapter, had you heard the term imprint before?
I mean, I guess.
Had you heard it in the context of Twilight?
No.
All right, so for everybody else that's listening that is a Twilight fan, they kind of can imagine where you are at this point. So before we even get into, like, the chronological of this chapter, can you just tell me your initial thoughts about imprinting, please?
I don't know. I feel like this is a quiz. Like,
It's not. I just genuinely, because this is going to determine the rest of the, like, how we read through this lens. So I'm just curious how you felt about this whole idea of, like, fate and shit.
Yeah. I mean, I get that in the context of this, but, like, I think of, like, I don't know, stamps and shit, you know? Like, just, like...
Oh, that's so pure.
But that's, like, the literal definition of it. Like, I don't understand what else... I mean, I guess, like, leaving, and that in, like, a more metaphorical sense, like, leaving a mark, or, like, leaving an impression on somebody, but it's more like literally a literal mark or a literal impression onto something.
The rest of 2K17 is just going to be us communicating our crushes to people by putting stamps on them. I'm going to take all the stamps that you gave me for my birthday gift and start putting them on people that I enjoy.
Damn. I hope I get one.
You want your own stamp back, you cheap motherfucker?
Oh yeah, that shit was like 50 cents.
Let me mail you back your stamp, God.
Well, I was hoping in person, but I mean, if you want to mail it back with another stamp going.
That's so meta. Oh my
That's
god.
too much.
That's too much. So, we need to talk about these chapters. I just don't want to talk about chapter 5 because it's embarrassing.
It's the worst.
It's the worst. However, it starts on a little bit of a good note because Bella's still with Jacob, of course, as we left off last week. However, their first talking point is our BB Quill. So...
BB.
And he's not pissed about being a werewolf like everybody else, which is my favorite thing.
He's like the most excited. He is the Emmett of werewolves.
Literally.
He's like, fuck yeah, yes. Oh, I get to just like run around all day and like chase the sun and be a dog. This is the best day of my life. Yes. Yes.
I just thought it was so cute that when Jacob is talking about Quill, he mentions how excited Quill is to have his friends back, and I was like,
Oh, it's so cute.
But I did think it was funny that when they're discussing this, Jacob refers to himself as a crybaby because... because he is, but also just the idea that him being upset about something and wanting to communicate it to others makes him a crybaby and not just like him showing emotion is so fucked. Whatever. So they're still talking, of course, just like they were last chapter, and we get some information about why Sam wants to throw hands with Bella. So it's sad, as with most of the things that Sam goes through.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. We get some more information about how he was the first to transform on the res and how that led to negative impacts for him and his past girlfriend, Leah. Which Bella is like shook about the fact that people like seem to know each other on the reservation. So the idea that Sam Yulee would know Leah Clearwater, she's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a second.
Sorry. What?
As if there aren't literally 5 people in this like 50 square mile radius.
It's amazing how shocked she always is that people know each other.
Yes. Yep, I agree. It's so wild. So Jake mentions that Leah and Sam were high school sweethearts, but when he transformed, Leah was just like, hey, sorry? What's going on?
Yeah.
You're not answering any of my texts.
She is what Bella should have been throughout this entire nonsense.
Absolutely.
And she's the sanest person in all of these novels.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So, of course, Sam's like trying to keep his shit together, right? While also becoming an actual wolf. Yeah. And when he actually comes back...
And having no one to, like, tell him how to do it.
Yeah.
You know? Or, like, what it's like. So you're just kind of like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
Right, exactly. But once he actually gets back into town, all of the elders are like, hey, we know what's going on. So, of course, that's when they finally explain what Sam's going through, and then he becomes the person who is waiting to help the others with their kind of transformation. The one thing I thought that was of note here is Stephenie Meyer's trying to explain how Sam and Yulee and Emily became soulmates, right, through this imprinting process. And there's a few things that are weird. One, when Bella is trying to discuss the way that Sam looks at Emily and how she references that to the way Edward looked at her, I was like, hey, first of all.
No.
It was so bad.
Blah.
But also, I felt like there was this, like, faux attempt for Stephenie to try and create this, like, negative drama between Leah and Emily, even though they're family. It was just like, hey, let's make these 2 girls fight over this one guy. It was so gross.
It's like, hey, you know what we haven't had enough of? 2 dudes.
Exactly.
It's like, no, I'm over it, Steph. I'm over it. I don't need another subplot of a love triangle. No, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Especially when you got 2 women pitting against each other.
Literally.
With all this, like, sympathy and shit, because it's like, oh, they were high school sweethearts, and it's like, but, no. Especially when one of them, like, definitely had, like, violence against them in terms of the relationship with Sam. Like, it's all a lot of mess.
Right, exactly. In the process of Jacob trying to explain this whole situation and how the transformation goes, he starts talking about age, of course, and he drops this subtle plot twist that he doesn't literally age. His body has just, like, glowed up for him, and Bella literally loses it.
Yep.
She cannot handle the fact that the two guys that she has somewhat of an emotional connection with both aren't aging, and yet here she is becoming, like, decrepit, which is wild.
Which is wild because she's literally 18 years old.
Literally. So now, on top of what we mentioned last week about it being kind of gross that Bella was, like, ogling Jacob, who's 16 and a half, he's trying to make sure that she feels okay with the fact that of doing that, because he's technically, quote, 25 or something with his body, which was so gross. I didn't like that at all.
No.
I hated all of that. I thought it was not okay.
I do like how Bella was like when she was screaming about how everyone gets to be young, and she's just like, I'm just gonna be old forever. This is unfair.
Yep.
Where's the justice?
Oh my god. I know, she's such a drama queen.
She's the worst. Oh my god. Like, where's the justice? It's so unfair.
I have this life where my only concern is me getting older day by day. It's just so unfair.
It's so much.
Okay, so here's the thing. We should probably discuss the way that Jacob mentions how imprinting works.
Yeah.
So, here's the thing. He mentions that it's, like, super powerful and, like, really absolute, and they're, like, totally soulmates. But in the process of doing that, he's trying to describe Emily's experience with Sam imprinting on her, and the fact that she was, like, pissed about it in the beginning.
Yeah.
Because of the fact that it was such a lack of control.
Right.
And he tries to explain more of how Sam hurt Emily, and it comes off in the most emotional labor way for me.
Yeah.
And I did not like that at all. Just the, like, hey, Emily, I know that you had something seriously traumatic go on, but let's, like, not focus on you and just make sure that you're taking care of Sam in this moment.
Right, like, because he's really vulnerable, and he doesn't really know how to control himself, and, like, you are definitely a victim of all of those things, but you should also be the one to pick up the pieces. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Like, that's just common sense.
Yeah, exactly. The way that Bella describes imprinting later on is my personal favorite thing, because she describes it as a, quote, mystical wolfy connection, which is basically the best way to put it.
That was Steph just throwing in the towel, right? She's like, there's no way it's going past this one. Let's just cash it in while we're good. I'll take that check, thank you.
Yep, I think so. I think that she had left that in as, like, a placeholder to try and put in some fancy language, and it ended up just getting into the final cut. So, of course, as it's pretty obvious, the only reason that Stephanie has included this plot twist is to make sure that Bella has some sort of contemplation of, like, hey, is Jacob my person?
Mm.
And of course, she realizes in this whole thing that now that Jacob has admitted to her that she is, one, not his person to imprint on, but two, that he hasn't imprinted at all, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's actually probably for the best. It's, like, sort of already confusing enough with the two of us. Which was wild.
Truly.
The weird thing about it, though, and by weird I mean, like, the most gross thing about all of this, is when Jacob is trying to learn more about Edward and how the colons work, and when Bella divulges the information that Edward can't hear her thoughts, he's like, oh, it's probably because of your brain, right? And they both try to make this, like, self-deprecating joke on Bella, which is nasty, and Jacob, I'm so disappointed in you all the time.
Always.
I just always want so much better.
Just do better.
Literally. There's two other huge components of this chapter. One, Jacob being a fuckwad and using Bella's trauma against Edward in this gross plot device-y kind of way. So we get more backstory on what happened last chapter, which, no, thanks though. He discusses with her what had happened on his side of things. And the reason why Edward had been making that face during their conversation was because Jacob was remembering how Bella looked right after he left. So, Jacob?
What kind of, like, manipulative bullshit?
Yeah. This is another one of those things, right? Where it's like, he knows that this is something that bothers her. And it's something that hurt Edward. So, of course, it's going to piss her off. And yet here he is trying to, like, bring it up again. And so it's like, he did not need to remind her that she walked around all the time holding her arms around herself.
No.
That's not good, Jake. Stop.
Yeah. And, like, Jacob always has good intentions, right?
Sure,
But,
yeah.
like, there comes a point where it's like, you keep bringing up all of these things and all of these traumas that Bella has yet to unpack, really, and still has not processed any of that, and just berate it over and over and over again until, like, that's just all of her subconscious at that point. And it's just, that's not what she needs. In very similar ways, he's being like, oh, well, this guy is not good for you because you're clearly not yourself, and also he's, you know, in and out of the picture, and that's not good for you, which
Right.
valid, for sure. Totally correct. But, like, bringing up all those memories that are still very raw and still very tender and shit that she has not dealt with ever, and doesn't seem like she wants to ever, it's not great.
Well, and I just don't understand what he thought her reaction would be by saying something like, quote, I bet you don't even realize what a mouse you were then, Bella. It was weeks before you started to look human again. Like, what do you want her to say to that, Jake? Like, okay, cool, thanks.
Right.
That's the equivalent of telling someone, like, hey, did you know, like, you look really tired today? Like, what do you want someone to say to that stuff?
It's so, like, well, how do you think your depression hurt me, you know? It's like,
Ew,
fuck off.
yeah.
Like, fuck off.
That's
Get
literally
outta
what
here.
he's saying, and it's the grossest.
It's pretty gross.
So here's the thing. I want to talk a little bit about how this chapter ends. Because, one, the way that this happens in the movie is gross and unacceptable. And I just want folks who have seen the movie and are like, why aren't you guys talking about this? Since Cody has not seen how this chapter has adapted, we are going to be talking about the scene in depth when we have our movie review, I can assure you, because I know, Cody, are going to have a lot of feelings about it. However,
I can't wait.
The way that it's interpreted in the novel is Jake being like, this all matters. Why don't you understand? Edward is a vampire and I'm a werewolf, and that's like a really big deal. And y'all, the line that Bella gives here, I cannot. It's literally, I want to tattoo it on my body. It's the best thing I've ever seen. I'm so glad that Stephanie finally understands the fact that Bella cares about astrology.
Are you not going to say it?
That's
or
my favorite.
Okay, just going to leave people in the dark.
No, you
What?
say,
Okay.
you say it.
She says, and I'm a Virgo, basically being like, none of this, whatever.
So instead of her saying, because Jacob's like, but I'm a werewolf and he is a vampire. And so instead of her saying option A, and I'm a human, option B, and I'm Bella, she goes all of a sudden and is like, and here is my natal chart, read it all you want. It's my favorite thing.
But I want to do a deep dive into this little line here.
Tell me everything.
Because Bella came off as the most, like, I don't see race motherfucker
There you go.
in this entire nonsense. Like, obviously this is the most, like, low stakes version of that. Like, there's no consequences to any of this. However, in this realm of, like, we're suspending our disbelief here.
Yes.
Jake is basically going, hey man, we have differences and they're important. Like,
yes.
I am who I am and Edward is who he is, and we have differences and that's fine, but we are also different and you can't just, like, ignore those things.
Absolutely.
Which very much mirror the ideologies against people who are like, I don't see color, I don't see race, everyone's the same and we're all just beautiful purple people. It's like, no, actually, it's okay that we have differences and sociological and biological differences. It's fine. We just need to be cognizant of